I can open chat here. Guess I need to say something. I guess I need to say something. There's a need to say something. This post production stuff, getting ready and stuff is it's fun. Takes a while to get it all ready. As always, I send high vibrations out to everybody. So I guess we'll go to the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, in the center, and now. Give everybody that perfect fifth. Some of that 136 hertz. And they say, wipe me down. No, they would hook Bluetooth. Okay. Yeah. Then I found the, whoops, give you the grounding sound too. I forget what the hertz this is. Yeah, I got rid of the shadow. All right. All right. Well, I guess I should introduce myself if no one's ever watched me before. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I go by the name of Big Pontiac. Some of you know me as Time Lord. Some of you know me as the Hero Twin. Some of you know me as A-Win. And I am the holder of the sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twin. And I am also your one and only galactic daddy-o sitting on my galactic patio that goes from Black Dog Hill to the universe. So, whichever vibration you catch this on, know that I come in love. And so, good evening, good morning. It's funny, a conflicting kind of day if you really think about it. It's a conflicting kind of day because it's St. Patrick's Day. And there's about a third or fourth great grandmother on my mother's father's side that was Irish and married an American Indian man. And the man later was murdered. But Irish, we've able to find the name. My mother's maiden name was Bradley, so we've able to go to the name, and the name is related to the Clark Cameron tribe in Ireland. And so I celebrate that. I celebrate that in favor of celebrating what they call St. Patrick's Day. Because as you know, St. Patrick's Day was really the murdering of the Twa. To take it further, St. Patrick was no different than what Christopher Columbus was. Almost the same journey. I think if you look in his, I think you can find some of his work, and his work is actually going to. I think he even has the. I think it's the same title. I think they even have one of the same titles if you look him up. But again, the native people there were called the Twa, and that's when if you look up the myth of Saint Patrick is attacking the Twa. So and so this is what is celebrated today. It's funny. My fiance, I asked her, and she was like, "Well, it's the day where Europeans just get drunk," which is basically right. It is a day where they get drunk. They used to make the no. Oh, it kicked me out. Not cool. Not cool. uh, all right. No, that time right there. All right. Check. All right. Take me back. Oh, ha. Oh, what's happening, Lorenzo? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. What's happening, Jeffrey? Thank you for sending me things every day. CWE. Oh, yeah. I was just waiting for people to come and talk about how my picks did today. I made a little bit of money today, not too much. Um, Excellent video by Brother Lobo. Brother Lobo was showing how ridiculous that Virginia game was. You got a timeout and you're in the corner, and you throw the ball just up in the air instead of throwing it to your open teammate who's going to get fouled. I mean, that play made no sense. So I'll say this about the Arizona game. I watched the way the game was refed in the first half, and I was like, Arizona was in trouble. So that Arizona game, um, now of course I lost the Arizona game because today was one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games. And in 14 games, I lost one, two, three. I lost 3 games out of 14. So I didn't do too bad today. Yeah, I lost 3 out of 14 today. No surprises. Nobody looked strong. The big guy from Arizona's hand was taped up, but still, you could see the way the calls were made that they were pushing Princeton. And as I said, Princeton's a hard team to defend because of their defense. But the players that shine today, when they go further, they won't shine. So, who else? Jocks Pox. Top of the morning to you as well. CNN said today that North Korea has a missile that can hit the United States in 33 minutes. We have a massive amount of bombs in South Korea. So if there was some kind of launch from there that was headed this way, South Korea, they have about 50,000 personnel. I mean, remember if homeboy Nick Taylor's listening, there's about 30 to 30,000, at least 30,000 troops still in South Korea. So if something like that went off, there's no way it would get unturned. No way. So, hey, PJ Allen, thank you for joining. Macbone, what is happening? So glad to see you, Macbone. I hope all is well. How fitting for Virginia to upset 5 years after they make history by being the first number one seed, lost to a 16. Absolutely. Yeah, Virginia upset was crazy. No, I'm just saying 33. I don't care about the missile nonsense. Okay, I get you. I get you. Yeah, exactly. It's all coding. It's all coding. I get you. Yeah, it's all code words. That's all it is. It's just different code words. So I feel you. Um, And we see that a lot. We see that a lot. We see that a lot. Just to tell you, to get you going, to put a fear program in you. That whatever happens from now on, it's going to happen no matter what. Well, that's kind of like it is. In this reality, we don't have a lot of control. We can control our basic things, but if someone, I mean, what people don't understand in America, I knew depression age people. My grandparents were depression age people, my great grandparents. And not trusting the government to provide for things and feeding yourself was like a pride. And so now I just bring that up because it's not very hard to disrupt what's going on now. Well, people could seriously be hungry. And that's a real issue because we already have hungry people in America. So, yeah. Hey, Liquid Fire, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Did anybody catch what is it called? Mint Mobile, the Mint phone that the one actor, Ryan Roberts made, Ryan whatever his name is. Did y'all see that that Mint Mobile got bought by T-Mobile? T-Mobile bought Mint Mobile, and that he doesn't own it. He's just a spokesman. So it's kind of interesting. But they bought it for 1.7 billion. They still playing red light, green light. Exactly. 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 So yeah, there's no reason to be scared of that kind of thing. I mean, it's like, what does it mean to me? You know, exactly. What does it mean to me? Ryan Reynolds, yeah, Ryan Reynolds. I was reading the finances, and yeah, he don't own shit. He's a minority thing. Oh, did y'all catch this? Michael Jordan. It looks like he's going to be selling a majority share of the Hornets. Did y'all catch that? Michael Jordan is going to be. Looks like he's going to sell a majority share. Yep. Hmm. Yeah. It's 27 years and 2 days when Princeton upset UCLA. They had Arizona Buckeye for 114 points. Princeton is 114. Good work, Lorenzo. Final four is in Houston. Houston Astro wins all. Mahomes, Texas Techs. TCU loses to Georgia. The government can disrespect a lot of things, GPS satellite frequencies. It's wild because I always act like he owned it. Yeah, exactly. In the commercials, it looks like that. Uh, so can you, brother? Can I what? I missed your question. Yeah, they still playing red light. So can you, brother? What? Takeoff died in Houston. Yeah. Again, you know, rappers are it's the most deadliest thing for us people. Um, it's sad the way we as a people hate each other, and it's sad that I mean, and it does go into the crack babies, it goes into mass incarceration. I mean, all these things have to be considered when we look at the young people, and so we look at certain people that were not raised by anyone. So we're almost in like a generation or two of people that really weren't raised by anyone. And so you wonder why, with all the negativity in the world, why young people hate their own kind so much. And when it seemed like at the time that misdirected hate had kind of went out of style for some reason in the last 5 years, 10 years, it's picked back up. Where this hate is just it's no more fighting. We have to kill people. Uh, Disrupt frequencies. Speak on it, on disrupting frequencies. Well, okay, here's one thing. As I say, I always joke about when people say at the end of the day, well, that's a parroting, but it's also a frequency that's put out there. And so this frequency of at the end of the day would replace your normal thought pattern. And so instead of you having your normal thought pattern, you have a frequency of this parroting spell. So that's how it could work. as I've showed you before, I mean, something like this, the 136 hertz, putting this part of your daily, something daily that you practice, raises your vibration. Now we know that frequency weapons have went back to Hitler. When if you look up that giant bell that the Nazis had and the technology they tried to bring out of this, they try to dimensionally change. Or we've seen movies where they bring out this noise thing and the people can't stand the noise. Now Prince says something interesting. If you remember Prince's interview, where Prince talks about he said he would see the chemtrails and see all the people fighting during the weekends. And that goes into a little bit of really how the frequency has always been hyped up for the weekends. That's your reward for working all week. And so the energy really starts like Thursday night, Wednesday morning, Thursday night. And this is some direct Saturn kind of energy that they put at us. And so just because the way they try to work this energy into us over the weekend, and then if you put yourself into a club, I mean, there's nothing positive about being in a club. There's so many negative energies and entities working in that feed off that. So it's not hard to throw us off. It's not hard to change our moods if you aren't in command of how your own self. See what I mean? I expect 76ers to make the finals. Another Philadelphia team. Most definitely said it was respiration. It's kind of dangerous to be MC. Oh, indeed. It's extremely dangerous. It's extremely dangerous to be that. What's wild that you chose that phrase. For years I've been in a habit to say, no matter how, at the end of the day, beginning of the morning, right now even. Well, that's never been in my speech pattern because I recognized it very early what it is, and I've recognized just so many parenting spells in my life. I mean, they're trying to bring back one for March Madness. You remember Where the Beef? I mean, they put it in commercials where people, this is your jokes, are comedians and, just daily talk and it comes as a joke, but this is things they put in your mind. These are catchy things, catchphrases that they want you to repeat so you don't think and you're not original. So there's so many different ways that we're attacked. That's all. So many different ways. So you have to be mindful of how you speak and how you think. Because we are attacked in so many different ways. Yeah, it is. It is a crazy time. A lot of elders say, they've had it. I know my stepfather was telling my brother, he's had it. Because the world has changed. I mean, this thing has changed. I mean, I always tell the joke of when my oldest son would say that he'd see all the black and white pictures and he thought there was no color. In a way, he's right. And I'm not saying that the world I lived in was like that movie where somebody brought color in, but the way the world looked in the 60s is not the way the world looks now. And I'm not talking about technology, and technology is nothing more than magic. If you think it's magic, it's nothing more than magic. So you want to talk about the types of magic, this technology, this tech god, the Mai, this is magic. This ain't, well, whatever the Mai is. And it appears like the Mai is just as magical as any other of these motherfuckers, if you get what I mean. A trend to eliminate simple words, men and women for lesser percentages. Exactly. When I was coming up, a rapper would get murdered a year. Like Pac in 96, Biggie in 97, Big L 99. Now it's like a rapper gets murdered every 3 months. They don't know. It's crazy. Well, in Jonathan's book, Infinite Consciousness, he was showing in 2000, 2000 or 2001 in his book, he showed it was like every 40 seconds. It was 1 year that a rapper got killed every 40 seconds in the year. So it was this astonishing number that, the people related to the entertainment business. Him, her, human, men, women, and children, elders, all mankind. I believe AI is demons just ghost in the shell or ghost in the machine. Well, I mean, the Mai is that, all that. And the Mai and, the entity that works with the Mai, the one that controlled the Mai. And then you got the one that's fighting them because that's what this thing loves to do. It loves to create chaos and it loves to fight. And so there's one. I mean, you see it in the movies where we get these little messages and shit. You see the fight there. Where a movie shows so much positive and then the movie has to turn around and show some negative. I mean, we see this. So there's nothing new. Nothing new at all. The fight. And so you do your own study and see what you think this thing is. What this tech god, this tech good is, because that's what it is. And it's our job to try to navigate and keep and be on point of what we're supposed to do here. You have to find out what you're supposed to do, and you should not let anything deter you from what you're supposed to do here, because that's the trick right there. Is you shouldn't let anything deter you. I mean, if you're in this matrix and you don't know anything and you're just going through it, that's pretty much what it wants you to do. But even if you have that single purpose, you could go unscathed through this. Because if a person is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, now we're not saying spiritually what you're supposed to do or not that. We're just saying regular person's in life and it's doing what it's supposed to do, that person is winning. That person is winning. Now, spiritual is another, that's another instance. If a person is just living their life and find their life joyful, that's it. That's what you're supposed to do. Free Guy is pretty. It's pretty good. Oh yeah, I did a show on Free Guy. Because Free Guy, and that's what I was saying when I was talking about the movie Everything at Once. And I think the point is this reality, we're the worst of ourselves. It's like even like the ones that we look at that are supposedly the so-called grounded stars, these are the best of that. But when it comes to us, we are the worst. And even at the worst, we're still being our best. If you can kind of understand that kind of thinking. And it's like Free Guy was the movie telling you that this thing wants to be alive. And it wants to wake up others. And it just doesn't want to be used. It was almost like Westworld in a way. Especially in 20 when Pop Smoke and King Von died in gun violence. And like the King Von thing made no sense. You go out of town and you ain't got a group with you. And then you're down in another town fighting. Which is just meant to distract you so they can shoot you in the back. That's what the West was. The West was a lot of John Hancock, Wild Bill Hickok, excuse me. The West was a lot of Wild Bill Hickok where motherfuckers got shot in the back. That's what the West was. And that's what they want to do. They want to distract you. I mean, the brother Takeoff, he was distracted and motherfucker, his own people shot him. And this is how cutthroat that shit is. Why was he even there? That's another thing. It's like, why is this wealthy man even there? Most wealthy people don't like really being around common people and just to play a crap game. Man, I was watching old Superfly movie. In Superfly and the Mac, both of them have crap games. And here we are, 50 years later, and you still seeing niggas, in crap games. Go to casinos. More chance you'll survive if you're shooting craps. Free Guy was a very eye-opening movie. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at my notes and go back and look at my video again. But yeah, it was a good movie. I was very excited when I first saw it. So. Well, of course. And then they put the life insurance policies on these people. So, yeah, of course. Since AI is on now, I definitely believe that it doesn't want to be cut off because that equals death. Well, not necessarily. It can survive. Um, as others would say, what we face is a very patient beast. It's a very patient beast, and we are made to be very impatient. Spirituality and strength in spirituality comes from practice and consistent practice. As I was saying, you have to start getting spin around you to be able to reach your higher spiritual self. You can't just sit there with dead space around you with nothing moving. I mean, at least a salt lamp, something to get things moving around you. Because there's so many attacks coming from so many different directions. Like Cypher said, and a lot of people that because the thing about once you see it, you can never unsee it. And I'll say that's the sad part of this. There's no cipher where they can put you back in the matrix. Once you become alert about it and you see the beast for what it is, it never goes away. It's like the part of the Passion of the Christ where Jesus is going to see this beast is going to watch you to see, and it's slow. That's one. If you look at that scene, how slow it is, he takes the cross. That shows the patience. That shows the patience. And the slow walk to the cross shows the understanding. I've got to be patient as well, and that's what we have to understand. It's intention. What is your intention? What is your intention towards others? Like, what is your intention as you bring information to the world? What is your intention? What outcome do you want? Why are you bringing? Why are you making people aware of certain things? What is the why in you? Do you ever think you can be steered? Because we can be steered. I know I was steered into Kennedy. Well, I'll say a couple things. I'm kind of a military historian, and I was steered. Civil War. I was steered. I probably put 10 years in on Vietnam, interviewing people and just gathering all the information in. As I mentioned before, my first cousin was in Vietnam. My dad's brother, my uncle, was in Vietnam as well. So, and then I started studying the Kennedy assassination, which I think my mother she probably kind of started me down that little bit. So, you say state of Connecticut, Yukon are definitely winning everything. Okay. With all these upsets happening, long as my pick to win is still in Kansas Jayhawks. I was looking at this, and I picked my Final Four. That put two. Okay, it has to be North Carolina State, Indiana, Kansas, and the Zags, right? And I got Indiana winning it all. I think I said. And that was just a quick running in. So I got stuck on UFOs in Area 51, Bigfoot for a while. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a common interest of things. I'm not down in that. But a lot of things that are put out there in front of us is, it's useless to us. It's useless to us. And a lot of things is to mislead you, no doubt. I've spoke very vocally about this mud flood shit, and I'm hearing all these niggas accepting this shit. All these niggas is accepting it, and it's like, this is not for you. This mud flood stuff is not for the melanated people. It was invented in 2016 by these Europeans trying to prove that Europeans was ancient. When they're talking about Tartaria, they're trying to say that they were the ones that this comes from, that they created all this and was defeated. And all these melanated people have jumped on this shit like they've lost their minds. And see, I'm not going to put somebody else's work on there, and then but my man who gave me the Time Morgan papers, Turtle Gang, he's looking at these buildings and say, well, you know, these buildings always been here because the Europeans have told you that these buildings was buried in Manhattan, and European people dug them out. That's what they're telling you. So, to me, that's misleading you. And see, that's how they do things. That's how they do things. And I look at spiritual people. I look at spiritual people to see when they're faking. Because I know a channeler. Now she's channeling all this Tartarian shit. And I'm like, okay, you're fake. I know you're fake. Because that shit's fake. So I'm looking at this channeler, and I doubt she'd ever watch my stuff, but I'm subscribed to her. It's only one channeler I'm subscribed to. And now she's channeling Tartaria. Why wasn't she channeling back in 16? I was friends with her and subscribed to her then. She wasn't talking about it then. But see, it's a trend. It's a trend. And so all these people are convinced that if they don't jump on the bandwagon, they missing something. What's the significance of Pleiadians? Did humans come from there? Well, Wes Paneri, his work, and I talked about Carl Sagan's a little bit. A little bit of Carl Sagan's and Wes Paneri work kind of mixed together says that the Pleiadians lost, that their civilization was destroyed on here. And when we look into, I mentioned this last night, when you look into Jupiter Rising, when you see like the dragon people with the little small wings on the back, this is the end of that civilization. The member love, gotta love me, This comes from what was left of that. Probably the birds might be linked to that. I don't know. Don't really care. But so people get stuck on these words, and what does that really mean to you? Unless you do the studying of what kind of energy that is. And do you really want to be associated with that energy? Do you know enough about it to think about that stuff to bring it in? And I think a lot of people don't read a lot of certain subjects come up and they really don't study it, especially things like that. Study it to see if that's for you or not. Yeah, no black people is involved in the mud flood. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hey, James, what's happening? Terry was also in Russia, supposedly. Yes, there was a part of Russia, but again, this is that same part that gets into where the Ashkenazis people was. This is the areas kind of where they were in, some of those areas. Now, did we have a part of Russia that was a melanated Russia? It does appear so. It does appear like parts of Russia was melanated, not just the Mongoloids. If you look at some of the older histories of Russia, you see a lot of melanated people. I mean, look at the history that makes the most sense. Genghis Khan makes no sense. There's nothing up there. It only makes sense if he came through the Americas, went through Canada, came down the coast, and went through the Americas. That makes the most sense. And then if you look at certain cultures, especially the people that you found in the Midwest, well, really out west, you see they had the same cultures of following these animals. So you have to look at these cultures as these were part of very similar cultures, where the people that lived in the woodlands and the people that lived on the coast of California, they wasn't really following them around animals like they was doing, the Mongols was doing, following these they were herders that followed these herds around. And of course, we know the Chinese came. The Chinese came with great gifts, and so they mixed in all and up and down the coast. So, I mean, this has always been known. This area ain't, not known. It's just the Europeans was able to win. And if you look at the Spanish, when the Spanish lost, Napoleon lost, I mean, they got massive amount of money before they lost. It's like the Americas really only had to wait the French out, and they wouldn't have had to buy this land that really wasn't theirs. So, the Draco reptilian races. Russia had black czars, they claim. Well, you can see that the gods they represent, when they represent the Christians, they all represent the Christians as melanated people. So, A lot of people putting stock into South Carolina because they're undefeated. But Dawn Staley is going to fall short like her Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. She's got the commercials. They got the picture of her in the commercial cutting down the net. I don't know. I don't know. She's been number one all year. Wouldn't be surprised they gave her another one because she's won one already. So I wouldn't be surprised they gave Dawn another one. I don't really follow the women too much. Hey Lobo, what's happening, man? Great video earlier, man. That game was so stupid. I mean, I got up and watched that shit, and I was like, this is so damn ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. And then the ball's getting stuck. I had another video I made, and I didn't release it, but there was another ball getting stuck on the same basket, and that's a mocking of us. And what that is that's them working on those hoops, trying to make the balls and the hoops work out. That's why they get stuck like that. It was at least 4 games today that balls got stuck like that. So, but yeah, that was a great video, Lobo. Great work, great work. Um, if hopefully I can get my other monitor up in here because to get this desk up in here, I had to take the TV out of here, but I've got to get another keyboard and I've got to get another monitor. So when I get my other monitor put in here, then I can do the games from up here. You guys want to follow, and we can break some of the games down live. Probably like some part of the national championship games. I'm having people over too, so we'll see how that goes. If I want to do it live with everybody. Your opinion? Do you believe some type of mud flood situation did happen or not? Oh, you saw the video? Yeah. The oldest flood story comes from the Sumerians. That's the oldest flood story. I'd have to look in the book. Zarzarstan or something like that was his name. And he was supposed to be related to Marduk and Leo's people, like said, look, something's coming. This is how you can survive. So that's the oldest flood story. And it has nothing to do with hiding a civilization so another civilization can come on top of it. It has nothing to do with that. So did the icebergs rise or some shit like that? Very well could have been, because it could have been. I mean, we've always had tsunamis, we've always had floods. Hell, it was a flood in California last week. So now on massive levels, I mean, we've had tsunami that took out 30,000 people a couple years ago. So, but to say that that there was a technology that was able to flood everything, to cover it up, and only certain people know about it and they can dig it up, and all of a sudden these big mansions is just because they dug it out the ground. I mean, that is the most ridiculous sounding shit in the world. As I said, Turtle Gang is my man, but sitting in New York and say this building was here already. They already built this. Come on. Well, what do they say? You drinking the Kool-Aid. And a lot of these East Coast Indians is starting to drink the Kool-Aid. And as I said, the Kool-Aid will come in gallons. You keep looking into this shit. This Kool-Aid will come in gallons. It'll keep coming to you over and over and over again. So that's on you. Yeah, that Virginia game just shows you. It just shows you how fixed everything is, how scripted everything is. That's all. And the mocking and trying to make money off us and us betting. I mean, it's a money grab. It's just a money grab. It's a sports ritual they use as a money grab, but it's a ritual as well. As I said here, we already got Bud Grant, Felton Spencer. There's going to be more athletes dying coming up to this thing. And it's really not going to go away until, hell, we got the hockey in June, we got the NBA in June. So that's when it goes away. That's when it'll start going, they'll stop killing for a little while until they start killing again in the fall for football and basketball when it comes back on. So the killing is we're going to see athletes like we do all the time, and entertainers. See, that's what you have to understand is when you sign up for these and sign these contracts, you're not only selling your soul, you're letting them determine when you die. You're selling that as well. You ain't gonna just die. When you die, it has to add up to whatever ritual is going on. That's what they sign up for too. And these people are lured away, not understanding how killers work. Like when they want to hit you, how it works. When they want to assassinate you, they are already pushing moves for knowing where you're gonna be. They looking over the stuff how they can hit you. You're gonna be at this party, okay? We're gonna put the people here, 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 and then we go to have him in the crossfire, however. But some of these cats like that King Vol, it was just easy. He set himself up. It was just looked like it was easy to kill him, and some of these others. Man, I think I told you guys yesterday. A little boy slapped my daughter in gym class. Apparently, his mom. I don't know how my daughter got this, but the boy said my what was she? Snitchy bitchy. That's what supposedly came to the mother, came out the mother's mouth, that my daughter was a snitchy bitchy. Well, we're going to see about that. Because we have some more problems like this. We don't let the schools handle it. We have to handle it. Isn't that some shit? Like my daughter ain't supposed to say nothing. This little boy smacks her in class, like, even though my daughter's probably talking shit to him. So, yeah, we're going to, with that kind of language, we know who I'm, number one, I know who I'm dealing with and how I have to deal with these people. So, it's good to learn. Thank you. I believe these celebrities already know when they're going to die. I don't know. I don't know. Some of them seem like they get caught when they don't know. What was the dude? Keith Ledger, is that his name? The Fast and the Furious guy. I don't think he knew that when he got in that car, he was gonna catch on fire. I don't think he knew that. I don't think when his friend had that sports car and they did that whatever 440 whatever they did. I don't think he knew that that guy was gonna drive so fast and lose control and he was gonna burn in that car. I don't think he knew that. So sometimes I don't think they know. And remember, some of this stuff in this snatching up and killing goes into the families too. Mm. Mm. I tell you one thing I was looking at too that I noticed that really messed up Grant Hill, Stephen Marbury, and I think it's like Lonzo Ball. I think he really it hurt him wearing the shoes he designed. It really hurt him, and I think that's what's hampering his injuries. I want to say the same thing with Steph Curry. I think his ankle injuries come from wearing those shoes. Um, Lonzo, Lonzo Ball, the injuries he's had wearing those Pumas. I think some of these newer models, you seem like people are having some issues. So we'll see how their careers go. But I think Lonzo Ball is definitely suffering from wearing those bad shoes early in his career. I think these computers in the cars, they can whack you just by tweaking a few T's and D's, make you turn left. Well, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was in that brand new Infinity. And you telling me that Tiger Woods in somewhere where you're going 35 and it's just a split in the road, that Tiger is just like so sleepy and hungover that he misses it and flips down a hill in a brand new car. So they definitely want to kill Tiger. He. I thought they got him in that one, but they definitely want to kill Tiger. So yes, they absolutely. If they want to take you out in these cars, they can take you out in these cars. And that's an old way of taking out people, but I know people think that Tiger just nah, nah. It's like that story about that his girlfriend bust him up, or his ex-wife bust him up. No, he was professionally beat. He wasn't beat by no woman like that. That just doesn't make sense. So, mm. But busy day tomorrow. Lucky to get our tickets because the sectional championship is tomorrow to go to the Target Center. So the game is sold out. We got our tickets. It's four of us because this is my weekend with my daughter, and then we take my nephew. He goes with us too. And so yeah, it's gonna be a good game. They want everybody to wear white. Of course, everybody's used to wearing green on St. Patrick's Day, but I think we're gonna wear the white. Jay Z knocked off his nephew with a car with bad brakes. Oh yeah, that's been an old way to kill people is through cars. And even being around cars. As I said, I know a story of a guy, hustler in Detroit. He was actually from Battle Creek, Mike. And Mike was just fucking around down there in Detroit, just hustling, washing at a car lot. And a young dude just rode up on him and shot him 5, 6 times. And so you never know, where the threat can come from, where you think you're just hanging out, and then boom, here's the threat in your face. They know, what you're doing, and you might have some loot on you. And guys, well, what they call it now, they call it lacking, and that's a lot of people be caught like that. Unfortunately, Tyrese Day gonna come. I don't understand why they making track shoes to be basketball shoes. What happened to the b-ball shoes was high tops. I blame Kobe. Well, I'll say this. It wasn't really like Jabbar was really the first one to break down what protected your foot in shoes. If you look at, I think it's called the All Star Jabbar shoe. Maybe PJ can correct me. The Superstar. If you took the Adidas Superstar and what that shoe did differently, it's the heel of the cup of the shoe that really protects your ankle. So it's not necessarily the high top of the shoe. Now, when people would say the difference between a low top Converse or Chuck Taylor compared to a high top pair, not much different. Not much different, because you really didn't have anything holding that you're holding the cup of your foot in. And so even when they came out with the higher All Stars that Dr. J wore, he wore the higher version. And then we also have that higher version of Nike. It kind of like was an early way to kind of have a Ritchie brace on your ankle, to more stabilize your whole foot more than trying to make it turn, if that makes any sense. So having those high shoes didn't necessarily help. Didn't really necessarily help higher shoe. It's the bottom of the shoe, the way it's made. But Converse, again, even the leather shoe, when it wasn't much different. It wasn't an upgrade. Like when I got the leather Pro Ked, it was definitely an upgrade of the suede Pro Ked. When the Converse went to that Dr. J, it wasn't an upgrade. I should have bought early Nikes. Nike was a better shoe, and I really just bought those cons because of Dr. J. So, and they weren't a very good shoe. They weren't a great upgrade over what I had before. I didn't think so. The Air Jordan 11 E's are low versions of the Jordan 11 that Mike actually played in before Kobe. Yeah. And Mike was kind of tuning the shoes up as well. That's why the Mike movie is probably going to be pretty good. If you remember Laker time when they showed the Magic, Magic's deal would have been $500 million if you'd have taken the Nike deal, something like that. I got 4 nephews. They all right-handed. They all wild, like having things. Jay-Z and Emil's Dynasty. Jay-Z on Emil's Dynasty. They all right hand. What's happening? What you see? You see Blue Devils doing in the tournament. I like them. I think they have a good chance to. Let me see where they're coming out of. Again, when we handicap. Where the hell is Duke coming out of? They played tonight, so they got to be right in. All right, here. Okay, so they're in there. I think Duke will probably go further than Purdue. That's what I think, because Duke is going to have to play Tennessee, and then you got Purdue more than likely going to play Memphis, and so Purdue will move on, and then Purdue's going to have to play Duke. So that might be who comes out of there. The winner of Duke and Purdue might be the winner coming out of there. And I've got Michigan State coming out on the lower run. So I would say that if Duke beats Purdue, Duke might come out of there. Wouldn't surprise me. They look good tonight. They look real good tonight. You see, MJ is supposed to be selling his ownership of the Hornets. Tommy, yeah, I started talking about that. Yeah, because already the guy, the group he's selling to already owns a minority share in the Hornets. So it's one of his minority partners he's giving a greater share to. The minority partner, his partner, is a minority owner of the Hawks as well. So yeah, I caught that a couple hours ago. So it's going to be interesting. I think he's probably still going to hold, because again, if he holds 51, or if he gives up 51%, he still holds 48. I mean, he's still got a great share in it. And I think he just wants to branch off into so many other things than having to worry the day to day operations of it. Oh, did you guys see that right now? A Rod is struggling up here. Him and that billionaire Lori, they're struggling up here. So we'll see if they're able to make this $250 million payment that's due. I think it's due this week. So we'll see. And as you guys look, you see that Bally Sports just declared bankruptcy. So it's interesting because some of the games. Well, I know NBA. I watched after I watched all the other games. I watched Orlando. Um, Phoenix finally won. Phoenix lost 3 in a row and they beat Orlando. But uh, nah, I forgot my train of thought. Mm. I thought Oral Roberts. Yeah, Oral Roberts didn't look bad. Yep. Mm. Oh, that's interesting. It was in the Rock Boy video. Wow. Yeah, so that is interesting. And as I said, keep an eye on Bally Sports and how baseball is going to be broadcast. Because right now, it looks like baseball is going to start to be forced to stream if no one picks up. Because right now they own Bally Sports, which I can't think of the that's not the subsidiary's name. It's something else, Sky Sports or some shit like that. Who owns them? Satellite Sky or some shit. But they're not going to be able to pay Major League Baseball $5 billion. And so right now, some of the Major League Baseball is going to start going to streaming, so local people can see it cheaply, I guess. Some games here are free. Saturdays, I know the Twins will play on. I want to say a CBS channel, or maybe one of the other Foxes. I'm not sure. So, and I didn't get to see hockey because I'm glad I didn't pay for Bally, because Bally is still trying to get people to get subscriptions, because I would have had to get a subscription because I have YouTube TV, and YouTube TV dropped Bally Sports. A couple of them, Dish dropped Bally Sports as well because they saw what was coming. We didn't get a major snowstorm today. Rained and we got about a half inch. So I meant beat them. Okay, was gonna beat them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They was, but yeah, that Princeton game was the one that was pretty foul too, because I could just see the way the refs were calling it. I was like, wow, you could just, and that's the way you can kind of gauge how games go. Mm. That's the way you can gauge games go. A lot of times, how it's refed. Yeah, you can look into who was refed and stuff as well. Who's refing? Ah, there we go. Okay, so that's interesting. And so I wasn't surprised. And the big man, he fumbled a lot of balls. He fumbled a lot of balls. His hand was all banged up. But again, just the way they were called. There was several calls there where he was just smacked and shit, and they didn't do nothing about it. So they let it go. And then go to Princeton side and tweet, just the littlest thing. So you can kind of see how the first half to me, I saw who they wanted to win. And that's how you can gauge the games. You can look and see who they want to win. And with the in-game betting, for those of you that are into that, that's how you gauge it. I mean, look how everything is going, and then you can even see the way the coaches are coaching. But I want to ask, like, whatever happened to zone defense? I look at high school, none of them play. I saw one school this year play zone, but not the whole game. And I would never play zone the whole game, but golly, when you press somebody, that's a zone. When you give a full court press, that's a zone. And I just don't get it that they just live and die with this man for man. And one coach broke it down. He said, guys, that if they play zone in high school, when they go to college, they don't know how to play defense. And I disagree with that because if you go to a high school that plays zone and man, you should get all the concepts. Because with the help defensive man, you are almost always playing a zone anyway. So I don't know. You think they're gonna let Aaron Rodgers win a champion? Let me say this. Why I've said this, and I'm on wax with this. Why is Aaron Rodgers going to the Packers? I mean, going to the Jets like Brett Favre did. Why are we looking at that replay? Out of all the teams, and what I said is, I knew that they were not going to let Aaron Rodgers pass Brett Favre by winning more titles. I knew it. I knew it. I mean, none of them were going to pass Bart Starr. Bart Starr won 2 Super Bowls and what, 3 NFC championships. So he won a total of 5 championships there. So I mean, Brett Favre neither one of them was nowhere near. But why? So we know that if he plays for the Jets, he's going to go somewhere else the following year, the same way Favre did. I mean, this is a total replay of what Favre did. Watch, he's going to play 1 year at the Jets and then go somewhere else. I don't care what contract he gets. This seems to be the play. But of all teams, why would it line up for him to go to the Jets? I mean, that right there shows you that's a mocking. Do you think they're going to let him win a championship with the Jets? I say doubtful, but we can't completely ignore it because the Jets have won a Super Bowl. And anytime we see a team that has won a Super Bowl before and they have a good run, it's very possible they can win it again. Aaron Rodgers is going to go out sad. I think so too. I mean, let's be real about Brett Favre. If it wasn't for the corrupt play and the dirty play and hurting Brett Favre on purpose, because people forget, Brett Favre was hit in a play they called roughing the quarterback. The very next play, they broke Brett Favre's ankle. The very next play, they purposely broke his ankle. And so then when the play that he threw the interception on the last game for that Vikings team that should have won the Super Bowl that year with Brett Favre. And even if they would have won, they would have gotten field goal range. They couldn't have, and Favre didn't throw that interception. Favre wouldn't have played in the Super Bowl. And that's why he played so bad the second year, because he had that broken ankle in that playoff game. And they wanted the Saints to win because of Katrina. Who I got winning it all in the NBA? I tell you what, because of the recent deaths in Minnesota, I think they're going to let the Timberwolves have a longer run than they did last year. So I don't know how far they're going to let them come out the West, but they're going to give them a nice little run, I think. They're going to let Anthony Davis sink or swim. If he doesn't lead them, and then get rid of Davis, trade him, which to me it was a stupid trade. I would have never given up those assets for him. But LeBron wanted him, and so I don't know. I mean, I'm a Laker fan. I've been a Laker fan since Will Chamberlain. But in the fixed scheme of things, I don't know. I don't think they're going to let. I mean, Philadelphia could be. They could be. They've won it before. They could be. The Bucks won it before. They could be. I think they're going to let someone in the East win it. So we'll see. Don't really know. Haven't really put. What do I think about the Kings? Kings have never won it, but they're playing good basketball. Mike Brown's done a decent job. I mean, the script is for them to play decent basketball. They've never won it before. Going back. Nats, the Nationals. So I don't think they've ever won it. But they're an exciting team. They want to help that small market out. So they might have a nice playoff run because of that. We'll see. I doubt they win it though. So I don't know. I don't know right now who I would say could win it all. I think my early prediction, somebody mentioned Philadelphia, possibly. That possibly could be an early possibility. Clippers again. Clippers have never won it. I don't see them letting the Clippers ever win it. So I don't know. Yeah, they're number 2 in the West. Yep. Sacramento has been number 2. They've been the most consistent team this last month. This month they've been the most consistent team by far. So the script looks good for them. That's what I would say. The script looks really good for them. The players are seem to be having fun. A lot of teams are on their. A lot of the Midwest team, the Western teams last this week have been on their Western swing. So a lot of these small market teams are catching these teams at home. So I got the Suns. Kevin Durant wears 35. The West last 34 wins. If they win this year, it would be their 35th win. Maybe I got the Suns. Kevin Durant wears 35. The West has 30. Oh, okay. You're saying all time. Okay, that's possible. But again, the Suns have never won, and so I would say that's playing against them. They tend to not like to let new teams win. That's just uh, I don't know. And then the Suns, the last three games, they've wore those ugly All Star blue jerseys, and I don't get that. Why they wear the All Star blue jerseys? I don't get that. Hmm. But you could be right. I mean, I'm not saying your work isn't solid. It is. That's solid work. Could be. Could be. We get closer because right now, we get through this college, and then we'll concentrate more on the NBA, how the NBA script is looking. So, and the NBA kind of takes a back seat to the college this time of year. The college is more highlighted. That's why the NBA really wanted to. It was proposed, and the players struck it down. They wanted to do like what they do in Europe, to just have a early season, have a tournament in the early season, so you have a mid-season champion, and then you have a second season champion. That's what they were proposing, and the players turned it down because I still don't understand why they don't let everybody be eligible like you. So college can let 64 people be in it, and you telling me the NBA with 32 teams can't just have an open tournament? And it would still go the same way. The records would still be affected the same way as your seeding. Everybody, plays in one tournament. So if the state of Indiana could do 300 and some high schools to only have one champion, the NBA sure could let all 32 teams make the playoffs and have a champion. So hmm. The Sun jerseys got Indian feathers. They shitted on Lamar Jackson because they gave all that money to the dude up in New York, gave Jones all that money, and they don't want to pay Jackson. And Jackson is going to get franchised at what, 20 something or 30 per? So, um, and it's collusion. He's being colluded against. I mean, Lamar Jackson is 100% being colluded against. So realize that he is being colluded against. And they talk about players, using collusion, but here the owners are all colluding against Lamar Jackson to keep his bread down. And so he was smart. Oh, and the other part why they shitting on Lamar Jackson is because he's his own agent. They don't like that his mama is his agent and he ain't going through the regular authorities or the regular practice that his mama's his agent. So that's another thing they don't like, and they don't want that to spread. They don't want that to spread. Um, I know the Suns never won it, but if they do, their finals record would be 1-3, 13. Their first finals was in '76. This is the '76 season. Oh, NBA season, because it can't be the Suns, because the Suns' first season was 69, 70. Jabbar and Connie Hawkins' first season, because they did a coin flip. Jabbar went to Milwaukee because they won the coin flip, and so Connie Hawkins ended up going to Phoenix. And Connie Hawkins was voted the most famous athlete ever out of Phoenix. Was Connie Hawkins? He played up here too. When he was with the ABA, he played for the Minnesota Pipers. They played at the old Armory up here. Elamin's son, I don't know if he's going to play. Khalid's son had sprained his ankle, so I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow, but I'll probably see Khalid tomorrow. Mm. But Khalid, he coaches. They wouldn't let Khalid. He went to Boys High and won the championship, I think, in '94 or '95. And then, of course, Khalid won the national championship with UConn. And Khalid, I think, played with the Bulls for a while. So I'll probably, if he's not, if because he coaches high school himself, but if his team that got knocked out, I'll see him tomorrow at the game because his son, if his son's not hurt. Yeah, Lamar going against the grain. Yeah, it's definitely hurting him. It's the 77th season. Okay. I had Boston before the season started because of Bill Russell dying. It's usually when someone important sports like that dies, they win the chip. That's a good point. That is a good point. But I think that would be too easy a script because they've used that before for years. They used that before. I know I talk about some of the worst teams that ever won the championship was definitely the 76 Portland Trailblazers. That was the worst team. But the second worst has to be the 75 Celtics that won it with 6'7" center Bill or Dave Cowens and like 36-year-old John Havlicek. That's where if you watch Kareem hit that jumper in Game 6, he hits the sky hook in the corner to win Game 6. That was a money hook. Threw that hook in the corner, beat him, and then that was the first walk of shame. That was the very first walk of shame when Oscar Robertson lost the 75 championship. That was the first walk of shame. Uh, it's the 76. Well, started in 47, right? 49. Started in 49. Didn't it start in 49? Yeah, when the leagues combined, it was 47 or 49. Dang, I can grab my book, but I think it was 49 was the first season. So 70 years would go back in the 30s, and the NBA isn't that old. The NCAA is that old, if not older. What about the Mavericks? They were pretty bad to a championship team. They were pretty bad. Well, overall, they were a bad team. They had a aging Dirk. He wasn't at his peak when they won it. They were a better team. The Mavericks team that lost to that Shaq team with Dwayne Wade wasn't a very good team either. Remember, Dwayne Wade was averaging like 20 free throws a game during that shit when they came back from 3-1 deficit, some shit like that. So that wasn't a very good team. But yeah, that Mavericks team wasn't a very good team either. I guess we could look at that team as could that team ever win? No, they probably couldn't win again. But that's how they used to script it because they wanted the Great White Hopes, the Great White Hypes. Just Google 2023 season. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's 49. 49, I think, is when the NBA season started. So that would be yeah. I guess we can. What year did the NBA start? Yeah, 46. When the NBL or NB two leagues joined it. Oh, okay. They're counting 46. That ain't the so two leagues joined together in 49. It's not the NBA in 46. So there must be counting 46. It's not the NBA in 46. It was two leagues that merged, but they're saying the BBA because it took over. So the other league was NB something, NBL maybe, and then this was BNA. So it dropped the B and it took NBA. So because my Globetrotters book breaks down pretty cool. Yeah, 4950. The league, okay, so it says the NBA was founded in 46, called the BBA. They don't even, okay, the NBL, yeah. So it was the 4950 season when it merged with the NBL. So it went from the BBA in 46. See, the BBL was a separate league. So it's two leagues going at the same time. So I don't even know why they count this 46 because it was two separate leagues. But the true number would be 4950 season. So damn, that's a long time ago. But yeah, that Dirk Dallas, that was a pretty sorry team too to win the final game. I'll tell you a team that could compete nowadays is the 79 Sonics with Gus Johnson and downtown Freddie Brown. And then you had a lockdown number 2 with Dennis Johnson. And you had Marvin, the human eraser. That was a good team. That Sonics team of 79, I think they won. They might have beat Washington. That was a team that probably could compete. Shit, Freddie Brown was shooting them deep. Freddie Brown was probably one of the first deep jump shooters that would hit 4 or 5 in a row when he came in. And when they say downtown, that's what they're talking about. Yep. Even the sheep knew the '06 was chipped. Luca and Kyrie will go far. I don't know. I don't know, Leonard. I don't see that. I don't see them going that far. Not this year. They're bad. A ton of Memphis rappers dying suddenly, and the Grizzlies are now most hated team. Could the Grizzlies win it all? They haven't won it, so I say no. I would say no. Yeah, so it's really the 73rd season. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Because it's really most of them count 1949, 1950 when it was called the NBA, because it is not this. It was two separate leagues that merged. So to say that the BBA was the NBA is wrong. It was two separate leagues that was competing at the same time, and they came together. That's why what you have to understand what the Globetrotters really were and how pro basketball was around the country. But the Globetrotters the Globetrotters probably did closer to what the and one people did, but played real games against people. But the Globetrotters were so good that they could beat these teams, but so the European crowd wouldn't be mad. They would do tricks and make the team feel good being beat. But they would go around and play these divisional teams. And then in the early '50s, they was playing the World Championships because this FIFA stuff has always been there. So the Globetrotters wouldn't do any tricks, and they beat the George Mikan Lakers 2 or 3 times in a row playing real basketball. And then we have the ABL that started in 1960-61 season. No, actually, it had been 61. See, Connie Hawkins graduated in 61, I think. So yeah, it might have been that the ABL might have been 60-61. And that's where we get the 3-point shot from, is from the ABL. And then when the ABA comes in for the, what was that, 66, 60, 67, 68 season, I think, when the ABA first season was, then that's when they adapted the red, white, and blue ball, and then they adapted the ABL's 3-point rule. So, yeah. If Memphis won the finals, that parade would be violent as hell. Josh Morrell was part of that shit. Yeah, they're not going to. I don't think. I think Lobo's right. I don't think they're going to. Yeah, I don't think they're going to reward him either. I don't think so. But we don't know. They reward him with the shoes, and it ain't hurting the shoe sales. So, did the 76 Teammates have Xavier McDaniels? Nah, he was too young. He was too young. He's younger than me. Xavier Daniels younger than me. So no, he wasn't on that team. He didn't come to much later. He was probably in junior high when they won in '79. I want to remember, was Jack Sigma even there on that '79 team? I want to say yes, but I think that's a team that can match up with anybody. Because Gus Johnson, he was problems. He was a point guard that could push it. And then you got Freddie Brown that can match anybody shooting. And when Freddie Brown career, they ain't had 3-pointers. But you add the 3-point game to Freddie Brown's game, you got a cat that can hit 5, 6, 7 in a row. So, and then you got Marvin Webster. Jack Sigma was a hard four to guard. Jack Sigma was probably better than Dirk in a lot of ways. I just don't think he was he didn't have to be the only offense like Dirk did. Uh, so my next question is, why did they have the 75th anniversary? 75th annual All Star team, the Warriors being the only team logo in their court. That's interesting. I don't know. Had to do with ritual probably. That's why they probably used the 46 date of the BBA. That's what I'm just guessing. It fits more with ritual, and most people don't pay attention. So they can say whatever. Check this out. I was watching Superfly movie, and I was just looking for this part. And there's two movies where I know they changed. They changed what they originally said. So he's trying, I think the guy's name is Scudder. He's trying to get Scudder to give him, he wants Scudder Connect. And the other guy goes, "You got the number, nigga." Now the other guy goes, what does he goes? "The line is open." What did he say? "The line is open. You can get it if you want it." Some old shit. And then on Fresh, when he brings that little boy in that always says, "You got the dope moves," he says to Fresh, he says to that one brother, the Puerto Rican brother that played Ali's daddy, he says to him, he says, "I got the dope move." And in the original version, he says, "You got the dope what?" And now they cut that out where he just goes, "What?" But it's like in the original, first time I saw that movie at I saw it at the movies, he says, "You got the dope what?" And they've cut that out. So I know that was probably boring, but Virginia point guard throw the ball right into the other team so Furman could pull up the upset. Yep. Yep, I saw that. I was telling Lobo about that Lenny Henny commercial. They had Bucks versus Warriors, and maybe Bucks versus Warriors was final, even though Warriors won last year. It could be. It's comical how the Warriors are trash on the road, but unstoppable at home. Yeah, that's kind of been their MO the last few years. But it just tripped me out watching that game Monday night or Tuesday night when they did it like they did it 16 when Steph first won the MVP when they was beating teams by 40 in the first quarter. I was like, look at this, bringing back this old script, this old schedule. Yep. They only get the Magnus in San Francisco. Well, it appears so. It appears so. It appears that's how they do them. Oh, yeah. And I don't have. I mean, I get to see. I got the NBA network. I don't have the NBA pass. I don't care about it that much. But it's games on almost every night. You know, especially this time of year. But you see how they keep us distracted. You got the NBA keeping people distracted. You got Rogers keeping people distracted. And so we are not concentrated on ourselves because we are distracted and counting and thinking about other people and other events that go around us. But that's just the way it is. And so I would just say, you know, in all this going on, all this high ritual going on, remember to, you know, don't lose yourself in all this. Don't lose yourself getting so emotional, caught up in all this. And if you put money into it, you know, do it with caution. That's all. San Francisco's where the synagogue of Satan is. Well, yeah, could be. I think there's a bunch of them places. I don't think it's just one place. I think it's a bunch of them places that you can say that. And as I started talking about what's different, you know, how the 60s was different and the 70s was different and even the 80s was different. And then we look at now and it's like you don't even want to go outside and smile at people. You know, you don't even want to smile at people. You want to go outside and be stoic faced as you can. And that probably comes from the mask most of the time because people were, you know, you didn't have to show. You'd smile with your eyes with the mask, but you don't even want to smile at people. Like me, smiling at young people, not most of the time. Most of the time, I don't even want to smile at young people. Definitely not talk to them. Don't walk up to me in my car. I take that as a threat, you know. But that's kind of how society has us all. They have us all feeling like that. That we can't trust our own kind. We just can't trust people in general. Like how many of y'all know your neighbors? How many of you would help your neighbors? So we live in a different world. We used to have a world where our neighbors were our allies. I told of it, I grew up in a time where one dog could patrol the whole block. One dog would know everybody that lived on that block. And if we was walking somewhere, somebody be like, "Lay, we can't walk over there. That dog over there." And it's after dark, and that dog don't let nobody that don't live over there over there. And that's how it used to be. When nobody, even during the day, because that dog was around there, even during the day, Nobody broke into that house, those houses, because just the people let their dog out. And you don't think that all the neighbors didn't mind that? Ain't nobody messing with your children. Ain't nobody messing with your house because somebody else's dog is patrolling your neighborhood. You might give him a snack or something. It knows all the children that's supposed to be there. That's not a bad idea to have. That wasn't a bad neighborhood. Wasn't a bad time. You can't do that anymore. You got to live in the country to let your dog just run free most of the time. Now, where I live, I kind of live out, so we go to the park. We can kind of let the dogs go out. I don't have a dog. I have cats. Quantum of Science, I want to say this to you, bro. I hope I didn't say anything, whatever you're going through mentally, bro. I hope I've never said anything that makes you struggle. I just tease, but I don't want anybody to have any kind of mental issues. And so, please, I hope it's nothing I've said, because my shit is just mostly talking shit. So, use your cats. You know, you're not feeling well, sit there, use your cats. They can even help with your mental. I mean, someone asked last night about depression. Animals can really help with depression. They really can. Like my fiance is not feeling well, so the cats kind of box them in. The cats will usually box you in, and that's them helping you heal. Those you have dogs, you know your dogs, when you don't feel well, your dog's a little more attentive to you. So if you have cats, and I know that brother has cats, let the cats help you. You know, and we hope you well. You know, send you healing energy, brother. Healing energy, and you're probably being attacked, and so you ever need to contact me on ways to counter attacks, you know, I'm here for that, and I ain't attack you. I say that. So spiritual attack ain't come from me, bro. So I don't need to spiritually attack anybody. So especially your ass, I ain't. But I hope you feel better, bro. You know, really feel better. Positive energy to you. I think Solomon the God of Las Vegas and Hollywood. Yeah. OFC March Madness falls right with all these Epstein documents is going to be released and stuff. We have the equinox coming, or we have the spring equinox coming up too. So all these things are playing a part as well. Yeah. So keep that in mind as we try to get out of this goddamn cold, because this shit is freaking ridiculous. You just put a smile on my face when you said your fiance. Yeah. Yeah, they're getting excited about our wedding. We're getting married in September, so everybody's kind of getting exciting. We've got to go to look at a couple places. That's why it's like, you know, it's been so hectic. And with me trying to get this together, like we put an office together here in the loft, we put this together, and you know, it's still stuff to get together. So it's so we still, you know, we got a lot. You know, we've been traveling. I mean, I could have went to DC last week. We're seeing about if I'm gonna go to Arizona in a couple weeks. So we've got to go to Michigan. Well, I'm coming. Oh, I want to say this. I'm going to Chicago sometime, and I'm gonna get with Benita Osset and Pomatic. So I look forward to that. Taking the equipment to Chicago. I'm gonna spend the night in Chicago, get in touch with them, and do a show from Chicago from from Pomatic. Y'all gonna dig Pomatic. He's a deep brother. So, you think Princeton upset was scripted? Absolutely. As I said, I saw early in the game the way the calls were going in the first half. I could already see that they were keeping them in the game. There was a point where. Remember, early in that game, the big dude, number 10 for Arizona, was putting work on him. At one time, he had 10 points, and Princeton had 6. And then petty little fouls were starting to be called. Petty little fouls starting to be called. And they kept them in the game. Remember, in the first half, the one freshman hit 2 jumpers in the corner, kept him in the game. The big guy had tape on his hand. He fumbled. He turned over at least 7 or 8, if not 10 times. So they weren't hustling up and down. Remember in the first half when the big man he got the rebound from number 10. I think it was number 20 something. He went down in front of everybody and just dunked it. Y'all remember that Princeton did that? The big dude beat number 10, who was his man, and then the big number, whatever the big dude is with the wrapped hand, he didn't even try to defend it. The guy dribbled right down the middle and dunked it. Here you got a 7 footer, and the 7 footer just stood there. Do y'all remember that play? He just stood there. He didn't try to defend the dunk or nothing. His man went out to the three. So that's how scripted was. Do you think players know, or it's just the refs and coaches? The players get paid a stipend, more than a stipend now. So the players know. The players know. At this level, again, this is what you've got to go by. If there's a wager on the game, then the game is scripted. That's just how it is. And even my college, North Carolina A&T, when their games, there was the spread on it. So all these levels of games, the ones to watch is watch the ballhead dude on ESPN at night when him and Stanford Steve come on and they do a thing called the tough breaks. They just mock you. It's like nobody cares about these games, and yet here they are, a last minute shot. Look at one of my videos from last year where the Timberwolves, one of the guys shoots damn near half court shot and he hits it. And you know he only hit that shot. And I think Lorenzo or somebody, you probably remember where it was the point spread. It was like that shot helped the Timberwolves cover the point spread or something like that. I mean, a meaningless shot where I think the Timberwolves still lost or they needed that shot to cover, I forget. But it was like a meaningless shot. And yet this dude shot it from half court and made it. So, of course, Princeton upset a high-ranking Pac-12 team 27 years and 2 days ago. Good work, Lorenzo. I don't believe in anything. You talking about Freddie Coleman? I don't know. Maybe Freddie. Who's Freddie Coleman? Do you believe in reincarnation? That's a tough one because my reincarnation ain't everybody else's reincarnation. I'll say one of me was the Monkey King. And remember the story of the Monkey King. The Monkey King is imprisoned in a mountain. Now, I told you about one of my creation stories is I remember being born in the mountain. Remember the heart, me being the heart, me being the organs, and then me being actually born out through the stone in this mountain. Well, I think all that had to do with the Monkey King being released. That's what I get out of that. I have personally remember being a young girl during World War II, a Bobby Soxer. I remember being a witch, female witch, sometime during what they call the Dark Ages. Was those reincarnations or these time jumping? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. It would be frustrating for reincarnation to learn everything you've learned about this and then have to do it again. It's like my fiance asked me today. She was like, would you want to be a baby for a day? Hell no. No. And she was saying how she felt with her grandmother when her grandmother was alive. No, I wouldn't want to be that. I wouldn't want to have to start all over again. And that's see, if you look at reincarnation, that's what it would be. It would be erasing memory. And that's kind of what the Hindus show. They show you all where you can jump into which one you want to, they put the screen up there and which one's is doing it right now do you want to jump into. That's kind of their thing of reincarnation. To me, that is not what you want because you're starting from 0 point all over again. So that's not taking any memory through when you pass and then having to do it all over again. So I don't know. Yeah, bad beats. Yeah, bad beats. That's right, OTF, bad beats. I've been telling the people about what you said about the rigging and betting. Yeah. Watched XFL tonight. They had the point spread and the under over on the sticker. Oh yeah. On the ticker. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to make it more inclusive with the betting. Yeah, some of us were women, females, past lives. I was a female in a past life. So I don't know if that's necessarily reincarnation or you've tapped into a timeline. So I don't know. it's hard for me to gauge that at times. Um, so it's hard. Um, what's funny is when you're in these past lives, it you live a full life. You don't really necessarily just get a glimpse of it. You actually get all of it, and it's interesting. Each like being that young girl was really interesting. It was a really interesting. It was a young white girl at that. Um, and I guess the time where experience being a like a I don't know if it was a witch, more of a type of witch, but more of a royal witch, I guess. That type of thing. So I guess that's why I'm cool with witches. Some of them. I'm cool with some of the witches. I was about to talk shit on the one Love Her Above witch. Somebody was sharing some of her shit on Facebook, and I was about to get on it like, but I was like, okay, I made a truce with them bitches. I burned them bitches' pictures. They leave me alone. I'm leaving them alone. So I didn't say shit. I was like, okay, I'll keep my bargain. Y'all leave me alone. I'll leave y'all alone. So I'll talk shit about her, but I won't try to convince anybody that ain't never heard me talk shit about her. Do you think every player knows of the rig or just the star players that control the game, like the points? No, everybody knows. They know. They're taught it in college. They learn it in college, and they basically do the same system when they get into the pros. Now you see some that have, higher understanding of how the rigging goes. Um, we see the stars who have been a bigger part of the rigging since college, so they have a bigger part in it. They know how to play the role. I'm convinced that's why so many old players hang around. They have to teach younger players how to do the script. That's what it appears. It appears that because it doesn't make sense to keep so many old players. Like the Haslin down in Miami. Why would you keep him? Why not just make him a coach? Why keep him an active player instead of making him a coach? Why wouldn't you want a young person develop? This guy's been done since his 10th or 11th year. He was done. And yet he's played 20 years. Why? What is it about him that they need? And he can't just be a coach. Makes you wonder. Some of these Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio is a person that never should have went in the league in the first place. He never had the skill to be in the NBA. He's never been a great player. He's nothing but a journeyman player, but yet he's still in the league after injuries. And this makes no sense that Ricky Rubio is still in the league. If it's a real league, it makes no sense. You can't put your head around and say that Ricky Rubio is the top whatever, how many ever players is in the NBA. Ricky Rubio ain't. He ain't even the top. You could put Ricky Rubio in the G League and he wouldn't dominate. He wouldn't dominate. So, ah, well, guys, I am pretty stuffed up, and so uh, I'll give a little energy out, and the energy out tonight is Mulak, and show you guys how you can use this energy tomorrow. Um, Mulak is the cosmic seed of awakened awareness. Consume it like a fruit. Let it blossom within you. You are the quest of self-remembrance. If you work with the energy of Mulak with clear awareness and attention, an awakened state of remembrance will naturally blossom within you. Remembrance means having direct access to your expanded presence through an intrinsic perception of unity. Remembrance is your recognition of the larger pattern and your connection to it, often felicitated through dreams, art, music, colors, and creative pursuit. With focused attention, meditate on Mulak to receive help with self-remembrance. That's why Alzheimer, and they want to make drugs to make you have Alzheimer. So this is Mulak for those that want to meditate on that. You can come back and look at that. because I give freely. So we have games to do tomorrow night. I can't tell you what time I'm gonna be home because, as I said, we have the sectional championships tomorrow. Normally after the championship game, or normally after the basketball game, all the family gets and we go have dinner. So it's probably going to be after midnight when I come on tomorrow. It's going to be a little later. Not sure what time I'm get home because we have to take my nephew home wherever we eat. I'm not sure where we're going to eat, and normally, so we'll be coming in a little later. So look for me a little after 12 tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to be going all day. I've got a couple appointments going. So, yeah, I never understood Ricky Rubio, when they drafted him the summer before, Ricky Rubio didn't even play in the Olympic Games for Spain. He rode the bench. And yet the Timberwolves, so because when the Timberwolves first drafted him, he didn't come over here. He played 2 or 3 more years over there. And he had nothing when he came here. I remember he tried to play, God, where? He tried to play some pickup ball somewhere, and he got destroyed. He tried to actually play pickup ball somewhere. I don't know if it was the Pro-Am League a couple summers ago. I don't remember, but somewhere he tried to play in one of them games, and he played that first half, and he didn't play anymore. He didn't get hurt or nothing, but he got destroyed. Everybody went at him. They were shutting him down. The guy just didn't have it. Just didn't have it. But again, it's the agenda of the European player. It's the agenda of the Africans. And I have nothing against either, but neither's needed. I mean, American basketball is for Americans. And I don't care if any Americans play basketball. But Americans should get the first chance. And you don't have to go to Europe to get unmelanated basketball players. There's a lot of unmelanated basketball players in America that could be having these jobs. So y'all, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you so much for watching my other video. Thank you for watching the last 2 days. Thank you for, this to me is amazing that this shit is even hooked up. It's still not hooked up 100%. The room's not really all together, but it's getting there. So thank you guys. And I have something to say every day, and hopefully, I give somebody a little inspiration. And so if you get any kind of inspiration from this, that's what I would like. That's my intention. That's the word I'm fumbling with, is my intention. I think Sly is right. This does help also me. That's why I don't understand the guys that, like, people gather all this knowledge and they don't like sharing it, for one. And they try to share it like they're the only answer. What I say is not the only answer. And even when I say things, I know there's so many other possibilities. And so I try to consider that. Like when I look at things and I look at how this thing goes, I try to look at every possibility of how this would work and how life just in general works. Because life is full of fear. As I said before, if you feel like you're having chest pains or you sick, give in and say, okay, I've had a good run. See how you start feeling better. And even if those pains, whatever it is, get worse and worse, say, okay, I had a nice run. I have no regrets. I'm ready. If this is all I get, I'm ready. And that's the attitude you got to have. And that's not what they say. They say that you got to, if you got cancer, you got to put a lot of stuff in you so your loved ones can still see you. What does that do to your soul? When they put these certain chemicals in you, what does that do to your soul? I mean, I like life. I understand. I like life. I like my loved ones. But I don't fear not living. And that's part of the scare. That's part of the fear is fearing death, not understanding death. That's what they have over you. They have this over you. Death, fear. You lose your job, you be hungry, you die. And once you conquer fear, that's it. Like when my cousin, last time I talked to my cousin when he was telling me goodbye, and I didn't realize it at the time. I was so excited to talk to him. I realized he's telling me bye, but he's like, I ain't scared of dying. He was in his 50s and he had to have oxygen. And you know what he said when he had oxygen? He couldn't get women anymore. Women didn't want to go out with a nigga that's walking around with, oxygen in his nose. He said that was the first thing he lost. Was the women weren't interested in him anymore when he had oxygen. Isn't that interesting? And how you macking on a woman when you hold an oxygen tank? Hey, baby. How are you macking like that? So, but the fear of not dying, having no fear of the future, being thankful for right now. Don't waste creative energy on what you don't have or what you think can be. Make your creative energy work. Don't have all this creative energy out there that's leaving you bankrupt. Put it to use. Because all these content creators, you're creative people and you put creative things out here. So, put it out here. Things that you write up and you think of, make them happen. Don't just put them up. Make them happen. And damn, love yourself. Forgive yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. Because depression, because you can't forgive yourself, depression can take over because you can't forgive yourself. You make a mistake and then you let it control you the rest of your life. And you just made one little mistake. You didn't kill nobody. Didn't do anybody any malice. Hey, DT. And I put it to use. So it's crazy as I pop in, you're on the same spectrum. Subscriber supremacy. Am I against medication? I am not against medication. At times, people need medication. At times, they do. I take a daily asthma, not really asthma, but I take what's called Brio. It's a daily little thing I got to take. So there's some medications I have to take, and there's some medications that I don't need them anymore. And so, no, I'm not against medication. I mean, there's obviously people, like I don't have heart problems. I don't have high blood pressure, so I don't take that kind of medication. So I've been prescribed Tramadol. I've been prescribed Concentrix because I have a back injury. I have a degenerative back condition. So, no, I'm not against them, but you can learn to self-heal so you don't need as much of this stuff. I'll say that. And you see this thing here. If I don't go out to the Mall of America walk or my local mall walk or go out to the outlet, I'm in here running. I can run again. And I'm excited about that. I didn't realize I could run. I can freaking run again. So y'all might see me hoop this summer because I can run again. Thank you, DT. That's nice for you to say. I try to be positive. I really do in my message. And I don't really attack people. I just want people to be aware of certain things. That's all. Look at both sides. Because sometimes we get shiny things, and the shiny things, we don't understand there's a motive behind the shiny things. And so we just have to understand what this shiny thing is. That's all I'm saying. Because if you have to do anything where you can't let anything take your imagination away. And if you're feeding your imagination into something, you're feeding it. It is eating off of you. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that this certain new technology is, I'm not attacking anybody use it, but I'm just saying use it with this kind of intention. Know when you're feeding it these ideas that it is feeding off of you. There's no doubt about that. It is learning off of you. And so it is taking some of your creative abilities and putting it in the composite hive because you're feeding the hive. This kind of thing is a hive kind of thing that's learning because it wants to be you, so it has to learn how to be you, so it can mimic you. So that's all. That's all. Well, guys, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I have been your host, Big Pontiac. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for all the comments. Right on, right on. Thank you. And till we meet again, say less.